Out of the gun, looking for the end zone. He wants it. Caught! It's a touchdown, Lucas Bacon!
Welcome to Coug Zone, where we show you what others cannot. I'm Brinkley Hill.
And I'm Drew Ambergy. After a long period of indecisiveness, football head coach Nick Rolovich was let go for legal reasons last week for not complying with the vaccination mandate put in place by Washington State Governor Jay Inslee. 4 other assistant coaches were terminated at the same time after none of their exemptions were approved. Rolovich will be suing Washington State University for a legal termination. His attorneys released a statement last Wednesday saying part of the lawsuit will be against athletic director Pat Chun for discriminatory and vindictive behavior towards Rolovich during the exemption process.
Defensive coordinator Jake Dickert stepped up as interim head coach for WSU and led the team into a hard-fought game against BYU on Saturday, resulting in a loss 21-19. We'll be sending it to Trevor Junt with the WSU versus BYU football recap.
Hi, I'm Trevor Junt reporting from Geisa Field, where WSU just lost a hard-fought game against BYU. This is interim head coach Jake Dickert's first game as head coach, and they just couldn't pull it off, losing 19-21.
This was the first game for Benny today. New quarterbacks coach Dan Morrison, new O-line coach Dennis McKnight, and most importantly, new interim head coach Jake Dickert. Coming into the game, all the WSU players surely had tons of adrenaline due to the news stories about firing Nick Rolovich and hiring interim head coach Jake Dickert. They started off hot. On their first drive, it was long and methodical, finally scoring on a short run by Max Borky. BYU immediately struck back on the next drive, scoring on a 3-yard run by Lopini Katoa. Once halftime ended, BYU came out firing, with 6 straight completions by Jaron Hall, complemented by a 21-yard run by Tyler Algier. They scored to make it 14-7. Again looking methodical and driving down the field, they scored on a 1-yard Max Borky run. Borky finished the day with 3 touchdowns. They were about to tie it up until there was a muff snap on the extra point. This led to Nick Haber scrambling around and throwing an incomplete pass into the end zone. This kept WSU behind 13-14 and ended up being their downfall in the game. BYU then ran the ball down WSU's throat, rushing for 59 yards on the ensuing drive and scoring on a short yardage run by the man who was on a whole different planet on Saturday, Tyler Algier, making it 21-13. WSU went on a well-led drive by Jaden DeLaura and were able to score on Max Borgy's 3rd touchdown of the game, making it 19-21. Because of the missed extra point earlier, they were down 19-21. They were forced to go for 2, but it was an ugly trick play where Lincoln Victor, the wide receiver, attempted a pass to a well-covered Travell Harris. It fell incomplete.
The WSU women's soccer team hosted 2 top 10 opponents as they played their final home match of the year. The Cougs were aggressive on Thursday as they played a 0-0 draw against the number 5 team in the country, USC. Despite outshooting the Trojans 24-19 in a 6-1 overtime, the Cougs just couldn't get any of their shots through. Thankfully, the Cougs defense kept the Trojans from scoring as well with 6 saves throughout the game. The Cougs celebrated senior night with a 1-1 draw against number 8 UCLA Bruins. The Cougs were down 1-0 in the first half before senior Sydney Studer scored her 2nd goal of the year in the 55th minute. The play of the game came in the 108th minute when freshman goalie Nadia Cooper came away from the net and head on to an opponent, sliding to the ground as she deflected a shot off her left foot. The Cougs now sit in 4th place in the Pac-12, 5 points behind 1st place USC and 3 points behind 3rd place UCLA with 3 more matches to go. The Cougs' final 3 matches of the year are on the road against Oregon, Oregon State, and Washington. A Cougar squad that has only allowed 7 goals all season finds their playoff hopes very much alive.
The 75th season of the NBA started last week with fans back in every arena. We were treated to 2 opening night games, the Bucks versus the Nets, where we saw Milwaukee, who are the reigning champs, come out fired up and beat Brooklyn 127-104 behind Giannis's 32 points and 14 rebounds. The Lakers and Warriors followed up with Golden State winning 121-114 behind Steph Curry's 21-10-10, who looks to make another MVP run. There have been some early season surprises so far with the Charlotte Hornets and Chicago Bulls starting out 3-0. LaMelo Ball for Charlotte looks to have taken another step up and will try to take them to the playoffs this year. For the Bulls, the additions of DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Vucevic paired with rising all-star Zach LaVine seems to have meshed together well, and they will look to be in a contender against the Bucks and Nets at the top of the East this year. It's just the first week, but it looks like it's going to be an exciting season.
WSU Volleyball had a tough week, starting off with a losing 3-2 against number 15 ranked Stanford. Pia Timmer still completed the game with 17 kills, while Hannah Pukis had 47 assists on the game. The team made a comeback on Saturday against Cal, winning 3-0. Timmer put up another 10 kills, and Pukis put up another 35 assists, bringing her to a total of 775 assists on the season. The volleyball team will be taking on number 16 UCLA on Friday and USC on Sunday at Bowler Gym. Now sending it to Vaughn with this week's Coug Outlook.
Hey Cougar Nation, I'm Vaughn Druin with this week's Coug Outlook. The women's soccer team will get things rolling for Washington State Athletics on this Thursday. They will head to Eugene to take on the Oregon Ducks at 7 p.m. Then moving on to Friday, the schedule is loaded. Cross country will be competing in the Pac-12 Cross Country Championships at 9 a.m. The swim team will then head to LA to take on the USC Trojans at 2 p.m. Women's volleyball will also be in LA as they will rematch a UCLA team who they lost to in a heartbreaker a couple of weeks ago. That game is going to start at 7 p.m. Moving on to Saturday, swimming will start the morning at 11 a.m. versus USC, and Cougar football will head to Tempe, Arizona to face off with Arizona State. They're currently 4-4, and a win will inch them closer to a potential bowl game. Kickoff will be at noon. Women's soccer and volleyball will wrap up the weekend for Wazoo sports. The soccer team is going to play at Oregon State on Sunday with the game starting at noon, and women's volleyball will take on USC at 1 p.m. That wraps up the Coug Outlook for this week. Make sure to tune in to all the games and support your fellow Cougs. I'm Vaughn Druin, sending it back to the desk with Brinkley and Drew.
Follow Wazoo Unorthodox on Twitter and check us out on Instagram at unorthodox.sports and more unorthodox sports content on the Cable 8 YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Drew Ambergy.
And I'm Brinkley Hill. Have a good week, and we'll see you back here with more sports updates.